Hello everyone, Quentin here, and here's my reaction to the Cuties video, a new movie made by Netflix, which has gotten a lot of attention. Some would say for all the wrong reasons, or hasn't. Many people have a certain view on it, those that have seen it, and here's my take on it. First of all, the trailer is 1 minute and 34 seconds long. I wouldn't even call this a trailer. It's a teaser at best. I mean, so in my opinion, you're not going to get the whole picture of what the movie is about. I mean, Hollywood has made the mistake with trailers, either giving the entire movie away in 2 minutes or 30 seconds, or showing the entire movie in 3 trailers, or having very small trailers, and I think after that horrendous reactions to Sonic the Hedgehog, they probably would be thinking any publicity would be good publicity. But that turned out not to be the case. I mean, this movie got a lot of hate, and it got a lot of comments, and I've not looked at all of the comments, but some of the comments, and yeah, so let's get into it. I mean, first of all, the trailer doesn't tell you much as to what the movie is about. I mean, you see the actions, but you never see the motivation as to why certain key characters are doing certain things. And but we'll get into that later with some more detail. From what I got, this is what I got from watching the trailer. I mean, the story seems to be about a young girl who helps her mom in all aspects of the house. You know, the mother being a single mother. I think a story which a lot of people can relate to. She sees these girls who are dancing, twerking, trying to enter a dance competition. And she asked one of them, assuming, of course, she's this girl's best friend, to join them. Now, I heard the term twerk a lot in that trailer. I saw provocative dancing, but I wouldn't say twerking. You see a lot of provocative action, but the term twerking, I didn't exactly see that in that trailer. But what I got from that part of the trailer, when she asked the girl to join them, is a classic story about a girl who's stuck in a grind, in a routine she didn't ask for, but didn't have no choice. She sees the opportunity to break free, have friends, be with girls her own age, and finds through dance ways to express herself and trying to fit in. This is a story that has been told hundreds of times before in movies of the 90s and the early 2000s. This story is nothing new. The only difference, of course, is the girls in Cuties being 11 and 12, and the girls in the era of the 90s and the early 2000s being 14, 15, 16. And a lot of outrage has been made about that. But is that outrage warranted? Because, you know, through technology, social media, and, you know, the way information and visuals are spread, I mean, young people are growing up a lot faster than they did in my era. So, was the age that bad or not? I mean, that can be debatable, at least from what I've seen and the way the culture is moving. Now I'm here, and I'm going to describe some more scenes that I got from the trailer. I mean, you see a girl, you see the main character, of course, getting a period, and the mom says, "Where you're a woman now." I mean, these questions arise in the young girl's life, from who am I as a woman, and where am I going as a woman, and you know, how do I fit in, you know, how do I navigate this jungle? And you're probably thinking like, oh yeah, it's nice a man talking about what it is to be a woman, but you know, I have a younger sister, so I have a younger sister who grew up asking herself these questions, so that part I can't speak of. What I can't speak about, however, is the apparently this movie also has a Muslim aspect onto it. Now, I can't give a take on how that relates to the movie because I don't have a Muslim background. You know, I am reading the Quran in terms of trying to understand it, but until I do, I'm not going to speak on a religious subject which I know nothing about, and certainly not going to talk about how that religious aspect correlates with the movie. I can't do that, so this is for people of the Islam and people from the Muslim background to better clarify this. But you're probably thinking right now that after hearing this, that I'm defending this movie. I'm absolutely not. There are definitely things I disagree with. The poster, however, definitely don't agree with that. You show these girls in these provocative poses, and especially knowing that characters being 11 and 12 years old, that's definitely going to send out the wrong message. You know, especially with the current climate. I mean, this summer alone, there has been another, revelation about pedophile scandals. You had an online scandal of an online furniture company. I guess it was somewhere in Texas. Don't quote me on that last bit. But it's definitely, that trailer is definitely sending out the wrong messages. And it definitely strengthens the statement of sexualization in Hollywood and popular media. But to be honest, this is not a new thing. I mean, the other generations before my era, have created, profited, and exploited from the term sex sells. I mean, this has been done since the 60s and 70s, starting with Marilyn Monroe, then we had Madonna, and then we had Britney Spears, Kesha, Lady Gaga. I mean, those are examples of women who were the forerunners of that system, who have either benefited from it or have been damaged by it. Or but you also have stars like Jennifer Lopez, Beyonce, and Shakira, who have found a way to navigate through that and say, hey, this is me. Yes, I'm a woman. I'm feminine. I'm sexual, but it's mine, and my femininity is mine. My sexuality is mine, and I'm going to own it. And I'm not showing you anything that I don't want you to see myself. And so there's also that aspect of the system. But what I found funny in the reaction videos is that there was a conversation between two older men complaining and criticizing about a system that their generation has created, exploited, and benefited from for decades. And I find it also funny that there are two men trying to delegate what it's like to be a woman. So I found that quite weird. And besides Europeans, the Americans, Western societies, whether it be fashionistas, executive marketers, or sales executive, has always preyed on the insecurities of young men and young women, young boys and girls when it comes to sexuality in order to sell or promote a product. So this is nothing new. I'm going to say with regards to over-sexualization in Hollywood and popular media. But back to the trailer. I mean, I'm going to describe a couple of scenes with the girls being together. A scene where the mother tells the main character, with a period that she's a woman now. A scene that caught my attention is a scene where she missed an audition. Girls asking her why she was late. Surrounding her, probably implying that she has to do something bad in order to gain back their trust. And she does this by stealing money from her mother, so the girls can go out shopping for clothes for the dance competition. The mother slaps the daughter, asking what happened to you? And to be honest, I have made the mistake of stealing money from my parents' wallets too when I was a little kid, and she should be glad that all she got was a slap. I mean, I got my butt whooped, and some people took it as, she's slapping her. Oh, the mother is a villain for slapping her for twerking and dancing. No, I don't think it had anything to do with the twerking or dancing in that particular scene. I think the scene had to do where they stole money, from her mother, and I think she got disciplined for that, and not necessarily for twerking. I mean, I haven't even seen the rest of the movie. But yeah, back to let's see. Oh yeah, so the mother slaps her daughter, asking what happened to you, and the scene also comes where they go to meet some boys. Boys, of course, are taller, probably implying they're older, and they ask how old they are, and they say 11. I mean, I also see a scene where Muslim mothers come together, saying that the devil is in those naked women, implying how parental authority feels about the path she's going to take. I mean, these scenes that I'm describing are all classic scenes as to what extent willingness are you willing to go through to impress your friends, trying to fit in, get a boy's attention, rebel against parental authority. These are all classic elements of a story that has been told a billion times over in a different era. Of course, the only difference being that they're put the age of the girls are at the age of 11 or 12, whereas girls from my era who went through that story were 14, 15, 16. And furthermore, again, as I said, being raised in the Caribbean, girls were dancing or twerking or sensually dancing when I was 14. I personally knew a girl who was on the pill when she was 12. Now you're probably thinking again that I'm defending this movie. What I'm really saying is give it more context. I mean, this trailer says so little about the motivation of these characters and why they do what they do. I mean, there's so much room for interpretation in all the wrong places, given the current climate. I mean, again, last year with the Epstein case, before that Weinstein, Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, Kevin Spacey. Again, I repeat, the underage scandal from an online furniture company that was found. I mean, this movie trailer could not have been released at a wronger timing. The timing of this movie has completely been off given the current climate. Whoever thought that this was a good time to be releasing a movie like that, I mean, should have their resume up for review, because amidst all the chaos, understandably, it's kind of hard to see that. But yeah, it is a responsibility to look at it a little bit more closely. But here's what I think should have been done differently. When it comes to the movie Cuties, I think remove the poster or replace the poster. A poster with 11, 12-year-old in the clothing that they wear and the poses that they make is, given the current climates, just sending the wrong messages. The executive marketing team should have looked closer to this before sending it out there. Bringing it to my second point, which is the timing. With the current chaotic climate of coronavirus, people losing jobs, I mean, there's chaos everywhere. People don't know how their lives are going to look like. People are on edge. So you can't have a clear, transparent, honest view when releasing a movie like this. So the marketing team should have considered thinking through if right now was the current time or climate to be releasing this movie. Or has it? Because in this year, we've come to find out a lot about social issues which have been previously shoved away or never talked about until recently. Things like systemic racism with the Black Lives Matter movement, the failure of the government to help out its citizens in times of crisis, so creating a lot of political tension, poor advice on proper health and Medicare, and now the topic of sex and sex education, which has now been brought to the surface. All things which will need to be discussed in the future in a healthy way as we move forward. It has definitely opened the door for discussing, as we find out about how do we behave and talk about sex education in different parts of the world. Because sexuality and the expression of it is rarely talked about in any household. And I do agree, femininity has been largely suppressed by a once male-dominated point of view in society. James Brown once said, "This is a man's world," but that was the 60s. This is no longer the case. It has opened a discussion about femininity, how femininity is expressed throughout the globe, sexual liberty, and how that has been expressed or suppressed depending the gender and the culture we talk about. Because we forget that through social media, we find out that there are other different ways of expressing femininity or masculinity. Having said that, had this trailer come out 2 years earlier or 2 years later, I think no one would have batted much of an eyelash. Not saying that there wouldn't be any backlash, but it probably would have been much less given the current climate and state of the world. And again, this trailer should have gotten more context. I mean, of course, me being in the industry and having watched movies since 6 years old, I I can dissect and partially understand the context and the story of which the director was trying to tell. But for a regular audience member, it's hard to make that transparency. It would probably make no sense. And given the previous reasons, they've only helped adding to the confusion. I would have made that trailer at least a minute longer, explaining the motivations for certain actions of certain key characters in that trailer. Why does the main character decide to go for twerking or go-go dancing when there are many other ways of expressing yourself or rebelling against parental authority? I see the actions in the trailer clearly, but I never get the motivation or the why clearly explained as to why the characters are doing what they're doing in the movie. I mean, the director clearly being a black woman herself, I mean, yeah, you know, the shit's been thought through a little bit more clearly. And I am personally wondering about her perspective and the young actresses and their parents' perspective, because those are the only ones we haven't heard from. And after seeing that, I'm really curious as to what their perspectives are. Because I find it odd that we give this movie so much hate when not too long ago Seth Rogen created a movie called Good Boys, where a bunch of 11 and 12-year-old boys were also saying and doing a lot of stuff that boys that age shouldn't be doing or saying. So I find it odd that a movie like Good Boys gets a slap on the wrist for doing that, but the other one doesn't. And it's probably because we have an outdated viewpoint about boys, girls, men and women, and how we talk, interact with each other when it comes to certain subjects of the life and the culture, sex definitely being one of them. And with all the subjects that came before, I mean, this is a subject that starts in the household, and parents should be looking forward, more transparent but honest to their children when it comes to the subject of sex. Parents as always should be responsible and held accountable for the entertainment that their kids consume and how much of it. I mean, my era had to deal with different social issues when it came to certain subjects. My era was with violent video games. It was violence in, before that was violence in music, satanic worship, you know, and I think this era has to deal with sex and how sex is used in popular media, over-sexualization in different aspects of life. I think this is an issue from the current era, and definitely one we have to talk about more as we move forward in the future. But yeah, this isn't the first time a social issue like this has been brought forward. Was it the right time to do it this way? Probably not. But again, it has opened the door for a lot more discussion about the topic moving forward. But I hope this has helped, and you know, I think I will watch that movie, but just to really understand what it's about, because what I've seen from the trailer, you know, it says so little, and you can make all the wrong assumptions, you know, if you don't have a clear brain or if a clear mind or a transparent view on it. So I'm gonna give this movie a shot anyway when it comes out, if it comes out. But yeah, that's my opinion on it. And you know, if you agree, don't agree, have a different perspective, please share it, because I'm dying to know. All right, take care, everyone, and have a good day.